Good morning, my YouTube friends and family. Hope everyone is well. Just about to start another shift, and I really don't need to start this early, but because I don't deliver till Friday, and it's Thursday, like at 2 in the morning. But I like to start at this hour because then my shift ends early in the day, and I don't struggle to find parking, versus when I start late and I pull into a truck stop. You know, anytime after 6 in the afternoon, a lot of truck stops are full, and especially when you're going into an area you're not familiar with. You know, you may be going into a market where parking is tough no matter what, and so if you pull into some place, you know, midnight, it's going to be tough to find a place to park. And then you end up doing that thing where you park and you're blocking others, and all through the night people are knocking on your door asking you to move so they can get out. And so I just find that I end up sleeping better this way. Anyway, had a viewer, if I remember right, his name is Mike, ask for us to look at the Boston market for box trucks, and actually that particular area has 97 box truck loads listed on the spot market, which I think is pretty good because they probably have some in post a truck, and then they probably have more in the contracts. So this kind of looks like it's a pretty decent market in terms of work availability. And Mike, you know, to get back to my comment about people asking for money to do these reviews, I'm not hating on the fact that people are making a little extra cash, okay? That's not my point to say, you know, you shouldn't be asking other people for money. I mean, we're in business, and the key to any business is to bring in multiple cash flow streams, right? But the point I try to make when I say stuff like that, it's more to say, you know, pay attention to whose advice you take, because ultimately everyone has a motive, okay? And so a lot of times, you know, when you look at my videos, people say, oh, you know, your comments are kind of salty, or, you know, you're hating, or, you know, what do you have against, you know, box trucks or hot shots? What I do in terms of putting these videos up, I'm not doing it for cash flow. I'm not monetized. I've considered monetizing it. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Not really sure. But in a lot of cases, the people that are getting the most traction, if you will, the people that have the most followers, the thing you want to consider is, you know, what motivates them to put these videos out. If you look closely at some of these channels, some of these people just got into business 5-6 months ago. And, you know, there's a couple channels where not even 90 days ago, I'm answering basic questions to these people about hours of service, compliance, just different things. But then you're looking at their videos and, hey, for a consulting fee, I can help you start your business. And the whole while I'm thinking to myself, you haven't even been through your new entrant audit, and you're trying to collect money from people to consult them on how to start their business. And then you see their subscribers growing, and you see, you know, they're monetized, and there's a handful of people that have shared, you know, on YouTube how much they make from YouTube videos, and, you know, in one particular case, there's a hot shotter that makes over 12 grand a month. And I'm not hating on them. Not hating on them at all. If I had 12,000 a month coming in from YouTube, you know, I wouldn't need to take a paycheck from my trucking business, and that would allow my trucking business to flourish, because that's 12,000 in profit instead of 12,000 in overhead. And so all of a sudden my motivation for making videos changes, right? Now all of a sudden I'm doing it not to share info, insight, or just an opinion. I mean, if people don't agree with my opinion, so be it. But, you know, now my motivation is to get you to click that like button and watch my video, because that's putting money in my pocket. So all of a sudden, instead of telling you, I don't think this is a good move for you, I'm sitting here telling you how great Amazon is, or how great, you know, trucking is. And my motivation and the underlying driving force behind my videos changes. It's not so much about, you know, me sharing industry knowledge. It's about me selling commercials. And so while we're at it, you know, if I sit here and go live on a Friday night and say, hit me on the Cash App and I'll post the city you want, all of a sudden I do 10 cities for, let's just say, 20 bucks a pop. I just made a couple $100 in an hour or two of, you know, going live. Plus my subscribership grows, because people start realizing, hey, I can't have access to the Amazon load board, but if I simply send this guy some money, I can see what's there. And, you know, for them it's a cash flow stream. And my fear is too many people join an industry because they think there's more there. They think it's more profitable. Hey, look at Tex Garcia, you know, he just bought himself a new Ferrari. It must be great. Well, yeah, that Ferrari payment's coming from YouTube money, not trucking money. And anyway, so that's why I make those comments. I'm not trying to hate on people. If a lot of these people, we have to understand, you know, they're taking a step up in life, and I applaud that. You know, they're doing it honestly, legitimately, legally. Again, I applaud that also. And so I have to be careful how I make those statements and make sure it doesn't come across like I'm belittling or putting these people down. You know, I'm happy for people that find a better way in life for themselves. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's look at your market here. It's actually not bad. 97 loads. Granted, you know, we're into peak season now, so this isn't bad. So here we have a 206 mile load, paying $210 a mile for $433 total payout, going to Glen Falls. Here we have a load going from Milford, Massachusetts, out to Vermont, 211 miles. This is paying $171 for a payout of $361. Oh, is this thing set to... No, it's not. Why did that jump that way? Here we have a Northborough load heading out to Mammoth, 240 on the miles, paying $148. That's a payout of $356.80. Here's another load for 136 miles, paying $240 a mile for $327 total payout. 129 miles, paying $291 for a payout of $376. There's a 273 mile load, paying 1.72 per mile for $470. There's a 206 mile load paying $154 a mile for $317. There's a 245 mile load paying $1.53 per mile with a payout of $375. Here is a 108 mile load paying $260 per mile for $281 total payout. There's a 128 mile load paying $224 per mile at $288 is the payout. There's a 235 mile load paying $158 per mile and the payout is $372.28. There's a 118 mile load paying $316 per mile and the payout there is $375. Here is a 127 mile load paying $2.27 per mile with a $289 payout. There is a 89 mile load paying $294 per mile with a $262 payout. There's a 166 mile load paying $1.79 with a $298 payout. There's a 279 mile load paying $183 per mile with a $509 payout. There's 239. Seems like most of these loads are kind of longer distance. So 239 miles paying $154 per mile and the payout is $369. These are now Friday loads, mind you. So there's 243 on the miles paying $1.54 per mile and the payout is $374. There's a 102 mile load paying $273 with a $279 payout. There's a 199 mile load paying $1.79 with a payout of $357. You got a 129 mile load paying $224 per mile with a $290 payout. There's a 105 mile load paying $267 with a total payout of $280. There's a 230 mile load pays $1.61 per mile with a total payout of $370. There is a 277 mile load paying $162 with a total payout of $370. There's a 160 mile load paying $190 per mile with a total payout of $303. There's a 160 mile load paying $188 per mile with a total payout of $302. Here is a 173 mile load paying $176 with a total payout of $304. There's a 132 mile load paying $2.89 per mile with a total payout of $381. There's an 87 mile load paying $308 with a total payout of $269. There's an 85 mile load paying $351 per mile with a total payout of $299. There's a 131 mile load paying $219 with a total payout of $288. Here is a 181 mile load pays $1.69 per mile with a total payout of $306. Here is a 89-mile load paying $302 with a total payout of $269. Here's an 87-mile load, pays $310 per mile and a total payout of $371. There's a 180-mile load, pays $170 per mile with a total payout of $306. There's 167 miles paying $1.85 per mile with a total payout of $310. There's a 125-mile load paying $2.29 per mile, and this gives a total payout of $286. There's a 118-mile load paying $243 per mile. The total payout there is $287. There's a 165-mile load paying $183 per mile with a total payout of $301. Here is a 108-mile load paying $260 per mile with a total payout of $281. There's a 107-mile load paying $262 per mile with a total payout of $281. Here's a 152-mile load paying $226 per mile with a total payout of $344. There's a 100-mile load paying $2.77 per mile with a total payout of $279. There's a 102-mile load paying $274 per mile with a total payout of $279. There's a 135-mile load paying $278 per mile with a total payout of $376. There's a 145-mile load paying $274 per mile with a total payout of $397. There's an 86-mile load paying $289 per mile with a total payout of $250. Here is a 108-mile load paying $259 with a total payout of $208. Here's a 113-mile load paying $298 with a total payout of $338. There's a 100-mile load paying $309 per mile, so the total payout is $309. There's a 101-mile load paying $333 per mile, total payout of $338. Now, these loads being until Friday, there's a strong possibility that they're still going to go up between here and then. That's kind of how Amazon's algorithm works. And so, depending on how patient people are, if they don't start trying to jump the gun on each other, these could go up and be more profitable. So there's a 93-mile load paying $349 per mile with a total payout of $327. There's a 91-mile load paying $331 per mile with a total payout of $301. There's a 112-mile load paying $292 per mile with a total payout of $327. Here's a 70-mile load paying out $348 per mile with a total of $245. There's a 206-mile load paying $192 per mile with a total payout of $395, and we're into Saturday here. And so I'm gonna cut it off, not because I don't want to help you by showing you more, but primarily because it's getting that time where I need to go jump in the shower and get myself going. I just wanted to get this out and not let it get too much longer. as I'm talking, I'm kind of scrolling down so you can still see a few more of them. I would, as you're looking at these numbers, kind of figure some math based on you're going to get about 8 miles to the gallon is a good guesstimate on what these box trucks get. I'm not really familiar with your terrain. Is there a lot of uphill, downhill kind of thing? But if you consider 8 miles to the gallon, and if your fuel is, let's just say $4 a gallon, then you want to do some math based on that. You're going to be spending about 50 cents a mile on fuel alone. And so for a lot of these loads, especially like your 200 and 300 mile loads, you may not be able to find loads coming back. And so you have to consider, if it's a 200 mile trip, you're going to do 400 miles to get back home. And so base your fuel consumption on 400 miles and not the 200 miles that they're showing on here, and then do that math for your fuel consumption. And even though we're not talking about wear and tear on the truck and how much is your time worth, so for example, if this load here, if you can't find a load back the same day from New Hampshire, you're going to go 181 miles there, 181 miles back. You're going to have wear and tear on the truck. You're going to have twice the fuel, and instead of it being a 4.5 hour day, it now turns into a 9 hour day, for you to make the 467. And so if you take 467 and divide that into 9.5, or even we say 10 hours, now we're talking you're making $46 an hour. If you watch Kobe Pegway's channel, he'll tell you that the rate for box trucks under contracts used to pay $40 as a base, and then you would get an additional $40 per hour for the truck's time to do the load. And so with that being said, when they took away the $40 base, it was no longer worth it, and he just stopped taking the loads. So there is some math that needs to be done as you consider, are these loads worth doing it or not? In my particular market in Southern California, it's kind of not worth it, and that's the bottom of the list. There's nothing past Saturday at this point. So in my particular market in Southern California, none of the box truck loads start close to my home, and so you have to travel 60-70 miles just to get to the pickup point, and then you go make the delivery, and now you got no way to get back home, and so you're burning all this fuel. And for me, if you go pretty much in any of the directions that these particular loads go, you've got mountain passes to get over where the truck's going to be doing 25-30 miles an hour, getting horrible fuel mileage. And so for me, for the way I look at numbers, it kind of doesn't work. I know some people are making box truck work and they're making money with it. I think every market is a little bit unique, not just in terms of the market availability and the rate, but also in terms of how much competition you have. That drives the rate either up or down. And then, topographically, how difficult is the terrain around you? Are you in a market where the truck is traveling on flat level ground so it gets better mileage? Are you in a market, let's say like Vegas, where there's nothing that surrounds you, where you can do 70 to 100 mile loads, and then you're coming back empty because there's just nothing out there to bring back? And so these are all things you want to consider as you look at the possibility of jumping into this industry, or this part of the industry, the box truck. A lot of people say, well, if I don't find Amazon work, I'll go do load board work. and that's cool. That's the right way to think, but you also have to consider when peak season ends and Amazon no longer needs this many box trucks, understand that your market is going to become flooded with other box truck owners looking for work on the open market. In other words, they're going to be hitting the same load boards you are, and that's going to drive that rate down also. You always have to consider, where your competition is going to come from and what market fluctuations are going to do to impact you. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. I got to go jump in the shower and hit the road. I'm getting a later start than I have been all week, so I already feel lazy. But be safe if you're out on the road. It's crazy out there sometimes. Thanks for watching.